Foundation. There are many city-building games out there, but Foundation takes a completely unique approach to the genre. Unlike traditional city builders that force you to place buildings on a strict grid, Foundation lets your medieval village grow organically, adapting to the landscape, the needs of your people, and the trade routes that emerge naturally. This results in beautifully realistic cities where houses, markets, and churches develop in a way that feels natural and alive. The game doesn't just focus on architecture, it's also a deep economic simulation. You'll need to carefully manage resources like wood, stone, and food, ensure your population has places to work, and make sure they're happy with their living conditions. Each villager has their own role and social status, and as your town grows, so does the complexity of managing its hierarchies, taxes, and infrastructure. One of Foundation's strongest aspects is its modular building system. Instead of just placing pre-made structures, you can design customized churches, castles, and markets that expand dynamically. This means that no two cities will ever look the same, and you'll always have the opportunity to create something that feels truly your own. With calm and relaxing gameplay, stunning visuals, and an in-depth economy, Foundation is perfect for those who want a deep yet peaceful city-building experience that rewards creativity and careful planning. Empires of the Ants. Most strategy games put you in control of vast human civilizations or powerful empires, but Empires of the Ants does something entirely different. It places you in charge of a colony of ants. This might sound simple, but in reality, the game offers an incredibly deep and complex strategy experience, as you manage an entire ecosystem from the perspective of these tiny yet powerful creatures. Your colony starts small with just a queen and a handful of worker ants, but as you expand, you must decide how to allocate resources, train different types of ants for different roles, and defend your territory from predators and rival colonies. There are multiple species of ants, each with its own strengths and weaknesses, and the game's AI creates dynamic enemy colonies that are constantly adapting to your strategies. One of the most impressive aspects of Empires of the Ants is its realistic ecosystem simulation. You're not just managing your colony, you're competing with spiders, beetles, and other insects, all while dealing with environmental challenges like floods, food shortages, and changing seasons. The game's detailed visuals and immersive world building make it feel like you're truly stepping into the miniature but intense world of insects. For strategy fans who love unique settings and deep tactical gameplay, Empires of the Ants offers something truly special. It's not just about expanding your territory, it's about understanding the natural world and surviving against all odds. Farthest Frontier. If you're looking for a city-building strategy game with a survival twist, Farthest Frontier is one of the most challenging and rewarding experiences available. Unlike traditional city builders where success is just a matter of expanding your economy, Farthest Frontier forces you to fight for survival every step of the way. The game puts you in charge of a group of settlers fleeing from war and disease, looking to establish a new life in the wilderness. You'll need to build shelters, gather food, and ensure clean water, all while defending against raiders, wild animals, and the brutal forces of nature. Every decision you make matters. If your people don't have enough food for the winter, or if disease spreads due to unsanitary conditions, your settlement can collapse in a matter of days. Unlike many survival-based city builders, Farthest Frontier has an incredibly deep agriculture and resource management system. You'll need to rotate crops, manage soil fertility, and deal with diseases that can wipe out entire harvests. The trading system is also dynamic, with supply and demand changing over time, forcing you to adapt your economy based on what's actually needed in the world. Visually, the game is stunning, with realistic forests, weather effects, and detailed animations that bring the world to life. Whether you're watching your settlers chop wood, carry goods to the market, or fight off a bear attack, everything feels alive and immersive. If you love games like Banished but want an experience that is even more brutal and complex, Farthest Frontier is the perfect challenge. It's a game that rewards careful planning and adaptability, making every survival story feel truly earned. Crusader Kings III. There are strategy games, and then there's Crusader Kings III, a medieval dynasty simulator where power isn't just about armies and castles, but about alliances, betrayals, and political maneuvering. This game isn't just about winning battles. It's about surviving across generations, ensuring your bloodline thrives while dealing with war, diplomacy, and the chaos of medieval politics. At its core, Crusader Kings III is a grand strategy RPG where you don't just control a kingdom, you play as a ruler, making choices that impact your character, their family, and their descendants. Every decision you make shapes your dynasty's future. You can arrange marriages for political gain, assassinate rivals, convert entire nations to new religions, or simply focus on building a peaceful and prosperous realm. One of the game's greatest strengths is its character-driven gameplay. Unlike traditional strategy games where leaders are just nameless figures, here each character has a unique personality, strengths, weaknesses, and desires. Your ruler might be a brilliant tactician but a terrible diplomat, or a charismatic schemer who wins people over with charm but is weak in battle. Every playthrough tells a different story, where you never know if your carefully planned dynasty will flourish or fall apart due to internal betrayals and unexpected events. With deep political mechanics, an evolving world, and an endless variety of ways to play, Crusader Kings III is a masterpiece of grand strategy. Whether you want to be a ruthless conqueror, a wise ruler, or a cunning manipulator, the game gives you unparalleled freedom to craft your own medieval legend. Age of Empires IV. Age of Empires IV is a love letter to classic real-time strategy fans, bringing back everything that made the series great while introducing modern mechanics to keep it fresh. If you grew up playing Age of Empires II, this game feels like a true successor, capturing the spirit of epic medieval warfare, base building, and strategic battles. The game features multiple civilizations, each with unique playstyles. The English have strong defensive capabilities, the Mongols can move their entire bases. The French excel at cavalry warfare, and the Abbasid dynasty focuses on science and technology. This variety means every match feels different, encouraging you to master different strategies depending on your chosen faction. The single-player campaigns are another highlight, offering historical missions that feel like a documentary mixed with gameplay. You'll relive legendary battles like the Norman Conquest, the rise of the Mongol Empire, and the 100 Years' War, with narration and real-world historical footage adding depth to the experience. But the real magic of Age of Empires IV is in its multiplayer and skirmish modes. Whether you're playing against AI or facing off against real players, battles are a mix of economic management, army composition, and tactical execution. A single well-placed ambush or a surprise siege can turn the tide of war, making every match exciting. For RTS fans, Age of Empires IV is a must-play, blending the best elements of classic strategy games with modern polish and deep strategic gameplay. It's proof that the RTS genre is far from dead. It's stronger than ever. Sid Meier's Civilization VII. The Civilization franchise has defined the turn-based strategy genre for decades, and with Civilization VII, the series reaches new heights. As always, you start with a small tribe in the ancient world and guide your civilization across thousands of years of history, making choices that shape its destiny. But this time, the level of depth and customization is greater than ever. One of the biggest improvements in Civilization VII is the expanded city building system. Cities now spread across multiple tiles in even more intricate ways, making terrain and geography more important than ever. A city near a river might have an advantage in agriculture, while one near mountains can become a center of scientific research. This forces you to think strategically about where and how you expand. The game also introduces more dynamic diplomacy and warfare systems. Leaders now have deeper personalities, responding to your actions in more unpredictable ways. Alliances and betrayals feel more organic, and war is no longer just about brute force. It's about logistics, supply lines, and terrain advantages. Technology and culture trees have also been expanded, offering even more paths to victory. Whether you focus on military conquest, scientific advancement, religious dominance, or diplomatic influence, every playthrough feels unique. With its deep mechanics, endless replayability, and refined strategy elements, Civilization VII continues the legacy of the series as the ultimate turn-based empire-building experience. Whether you're a seasoned Civ veteran or a newcomer to the franchise, this game offers countless hours of strategic depth and excitement. Total War Warhammer 3. Total War Warhammer 3 is a masterpiece of large-scale warfare, combining grand strategy with real-time battles in the brutal, war-torn world of Warhammer fantasy. If you love massive armies clashing in spectacular battles, deep faction management, and an endless variety of ways to wage war, then this game is an absolute must-play. Unlike historical Total War games, Warhammer 3 takes place in a dark fantasy universe filled with chaos, magic, and monstrous creatures. You can command demonic legions, noble warriors, or even undead hordes, each with unique playstyles. Want to unleash hordes of bloodthirsty demons from Khorne, or lead the mighty empire with disciplined gunpowder troops? The game lets you experience war on a mythic scale, with every battle feeling like an epic fantasy movie. One of the standout features of Warhammer 3 is the Immortal Empires campaign, which merges the content of all three Total War Warhammer games into one gigantic sandbox world. This means you can play as nearly every faction from the entire trilogy, engaging in massive wars across continents. The variety of strategies and tactics is unmatched, making every campaign feel fresh and unpredictable. The battles themselves are incredible, with thousands of units on the battlefield at once. Giant monsters like dragons and ogres tower over infantry, Powerful spellcasters unleash devastating magic, and cavalry charges break through enemy lines in breathtaking clashes. The level of detail and tactical depth is astounding. Terrain, formations, and flanking all play crucial roles. For strategy fans, Total War Warhammer 3 is one of the most ambitious and content-rich strategy games ever made. Whether you're in it for the massive battles, the deep faction management, or the endless replayability of the Immortal Empires mode, this game delivers a legendary strategy experience. Manor Lords. If you've ever dreamed of building a realistic medieval town, Manor Lords is the ultimate city building and strategy experience. Unlike many other strategy games, this one focuses on historical realism, making it feel more like running an actual medieval settlement rather than a typical strategy game. In Manor Lords, you don't just place buildings randomly, you have to carefully plan your town's layout considering resources, roads, and the needs of your people. The game uses organic city building, meaning your village grows naturally with houses and businesses adapting to the land instead of following a rigid grid system. This creates realistic-looking medieval towns that feel truly alive. Managing your town isn't just about constructing buildings. You have to balance food production, trade, and defense, while also keeping your population happy. If your people don't have enough food or shelter, they'll leave. If your economy collapses, your town will struggle. And if you're not prepared for war, rival lords can attack and burn your settlement to the ground. One of the most exciting aspects of Manor Lords is its tactical battles, which are inspired by Total War. You can raise armies, command them in battle, and defend your lands from enemies. These battles feel grounded in historical realism, with medieval tactics, formations, and armor types all playing a crucial role. With its gorgeous visuals, deep city-building mechanics, and realistic medieval warfare, Manor Lords is shaping up to be one of the most immersive and rewarding strategy games for fans of medieval history and town management. Frostpunk 2. Frostpunk 2 takes the brutal survival city building of the first game and expands it into an even more emotionally gripping and morally challenging experience. Set in a frozen, post-apocalyptic world, you're not just building a city, you're trying to keep humanity alive in one of the harshest environments imaginable. Unlike traditional city builders, Frostpunk 2 forces you to make tough ethical choices. Resources are scarce, and every decision you make could mean life or death for your people. Do you enforce strict laws that sacrifice individual freedoms for the greater good? Do you push workers to exhaustion to ensure survival? Or do you try to maintain humanity and ethics, even when the situation seems hopeless? The sequel introduces new political and social dynamics, where factions within your city have conflicting visions for the future. Some believe in harsh authoritarian rule, while others advocate for democracy and freedom. Managing these groups while keeping your city from collapsing adds a layer of deep strategy beyond just resource management. Visually, the game is stunning and haunting, with icy wastelands, crumbling buildings, and desperate survivors struggling to stay warm. The atmosphere is intensely immersive, making you feel the weight of every decision. For players who love dark, thought-provoking strategy games, Frostpunk 2 offers an unforgettable experience that challenges both your strategic skills and your moral compass. Survival isn't just about having enough coal, it's about deciding what kind of society you're willing to build. Stronghold Definitive Edition. For fans of medieval warfare, castle sieges, and deep strategy, Stronghold Definitive Edition is the perfect blend of nostalgia and modern improvements. This game is a faithful remaster of the legendary 2001 classic, bringing enhanced graphics, improved AI, and new content, while keeping the original's engaging city building and real-time strategy elements intact. At its core, Stronghold is about building and defending medieval castles. You start with a small village and must gather resources, manage food supplies, and raise an army. The game's economy is incredibly detailed. You need farms for food, quarries for stone, lumber yards for wood, and a workforce to keep everything running. Unlike many modern RTS games that simplify resource management, Stronghold makes you think carefully about your economy, as a poor food supply can lead to rebellion and disaster. The game truly shines in its siege warfare. You can build massive stone walls, towering keeps, and deadly traps to fend off enemy attacks. Or, if you're on the offensive, you'll need battering rams, catapults, and fire arrows to breach enemy defenses. Battles feel gritty and tactical, with archers picking off enemies from walls and knights clashing in brutal melee combat. The Definitive Edition adds a new campaign, improved enemy AI, and modern graphics, making it the best way to experience this legendary strategy game. If you love classic RTS games with deep strategy and intense castle battles, Stronghold Definitive Edition is a must-play. Tropico 6. If you've ever wanted to rule your own island nation, Tropico 6 offers one of the best city building and political strategy experiences out there. Unlike traditional city builders, this game puts you in the shoes of El Presidente, a dictator who must manage their country through multiple eras, from colonial times to the modern day. What makes Tropico unique is its political and economic depth. You can choose to run a thriving democracy, rig elections, or rule with an iron fist. Your people will react to your decisions. If you oppress them too much, rebellions will start. But if you're too soft, rival factions might overthrow you. Balancing the needs of capitalists, communists, environmentalists, and militarists is a constant challenge, making every playthrough feel different. The game features a massive world map with multiple islands, allowing for complex trade routes and resource management. You can build factories, casinos, military bases, and even pirate coves, each affecting your economy in different ways. Humor has always been a big part of Tropico, and Tropico 6 keeps that tradition alive. The game's writing is filled with satirical jokes about politics, corruption, and global superpowers, making it as entertaining as it is strategic. Whether you want to be a ruthless dictator or a beloved leader, Tropico 6 gives you the freedom to rule however you like. Anno 1800. Anno 1800 is a city-building and economic strategy game set during the Industrial Revolution, offering one of the most detailed and immersive city-building experiences ever made. If you love managing economies, designing beautiful cities, and engaging in deep strategic planning, this game is a masterpiece. Unlike medieval or futuristic city builders, Anno 1800 focuses on the challenges of industrialization. You start with a small rural town and must develop it into a bustling metropolis by managing factories, trade routes, and labor forces. The game captures the beauty and struggles of the 19th century, from steam engines and global trade to social unrest and worker strikes. One of the most unique aspects of Anno 1800 is its New World trade mechanics. To truly succeed, you must establish colonies and trade routes, importing exotic goods like coffee, cotton, and spices to keep your citizens happy. However, managing overseas territories isn't easy. Pirates, rival nations, and logistical challenges add layers of complexity to your empire. Visually, the game is stunning. Cities feel alive, with factories belching smoke, ships sailing across vibrant oceans, and citizens going about their daily lives. The level of detail is incredible, making it easy to get lost in the world for hours. For strategy fans who love deep economic systems, trade management, and beautifully crafted cities, Anno 1800 is one of the best city-building games ever made.